This is the Doctor, President-elect of the High Council of Time Lords.
I am definitely a madman with a box.
Anyone for jelly, baby?
I'm the Doctor. I'm 904 years old. I'm from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castabras.
Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
Welcome to episode 40.
The Big 4-0.
Big 4-0. 40 episodes.
I know. Wow.
It's not bad.
Bit of a milestone.
We're still here.
Yeah, it's always good, isn't it?
It's always good when you last. I suppose if we go up in tens, we've reached 40. See if we can reach 50.
Well, yeah. You're not very. Gonna say you're not hopeful or something I should know.
No, I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, I'm hoping we might make 100.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
As long as you guys aren't sick of us, we'll get there.
That's it. Time will tell.
Time will tell. So we hope you guys have had a fantastic week. There was a slight hiccup, which is totally my fault. At the end of last week's episode, we did tell you guys that we would be recording. We'd be reviewing Carnival of Monsters this week, but due to an error on my part, we had to switch that over, and we're going to be doing Black Orchid. And the reason for that is because I don't have all of the classic stuff on DVD as yet. And when I went to order Carnival of Monsters, I went to go and pick it up in the Forbidden Planet store in London, because I assumed I'd get it in there.
I'm amazed they didn't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, because every time I've been in there, they've got like a huge, I'm pretty sure they've got 90% of all of the classic stuff. And they've normally got 5 or 6 copies of it as well. So I
would have put a good wager they would have had it. I was absolutely flabbergasted. Yeah.
So I know it's wrong to assume, but I assumed that they would have it, at least one copy of it, but they didn't. So I thought, that's cool. I'll jump on Amazon, get it delivered fairly quick. They had one copy left, and it was coming from some third-party supplier. It wasn't coming from Amazon, and it wasn't going to get here in time. So what I did was I ordered the box set, the Revisitations box set. I think it's number 2.
Oh, yes, it's in there, yeah.
It's in there, but that still wasn't going to come on time, hence having to swap the episodes over. So very sorry about that, but we'll be doing Carnival of Monsters the week after next, so that'll be episode 42.
That's it. I was just thinking maybe everybody rushed out to buy it so they could watch it before our review.
Maybe.
Actually, that Revisitations box set's good. What's the other ones in there? Can you remember?
The other ones,
because they're always really good, those sets.
Yes. Hold on, they're not that great.
Oh,
because
really?
It screws up your shelf management.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But no, they are good. The other ones in there are. Where are we? Yeah, so Black Orchid, Seeds of Death, Carnival of Monsters, and Resurrection of the Daleks.
Oh, Resurrection. Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. Have you seen that one? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Tower, that's the classic scene on Tower Bridge, right?
Tower Bridge. It's Davison. Resurrection? Davison, isn't it?
Oh, is it Davison?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I haven't seen it then.
Nah.
Is it a Tom Baker one? The Tower Bridge one, or is that Troughton?
I don't know. I'm getting all muddled.
Oh, God. Anyway, it's a good box set. So, yeah, Carnival of Monsters is in there. So I'll be all ready to rock and roll for episode 42. Talking of Forbidden Planet, I think you and I had an impossible walk past each other, almost.
I can't believe it.
This is crazy.
Basically, listeners, Gary and I were in Forbidden Planet at absolutely at the same time and didn't even know. I assume you went up for the comic day, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I. It's just incredible. We didn't see each other. It was only when I saw your tweet that I realised you were in there. And I went last minute decision because I was thinking of going, and then I was like, oh, it's going to cost me money to get out there and blah, blah. And then my partner started doing the bathroom and banging stuff. And I was like, right, I'm out of here. So I decided, right, I'm going to go to Forbidden Planet. So it's a very last minute decision. But yeah, it's really odd. We were both there at the same time, didn't see each other, didn't know. So it's all a bit bit of a missed opportunity there, but hey.
Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox.
Oh yeah, and we both missed the signing as well, didn't we?
So annoying.
Yeah, my train was delayed, and I got there half an hour late, and it was all over. So I got the comic, but I didn't get it signed. And I think, yeah, you got there a bit late and missed the signing as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. London was quite busy that day.
Oh, it's manic. What was going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. I did bump into Al Murray, though.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Did you say hello?
I did, but not intentionally.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was walking past me, they've moved all the Doctor Who stuff now. And he was actually, I think he was in it with his wife or his girlfriend, and he was having a look, and he was saying, oh, there's not much Who stuff in here at the minute. And I thought the same thing. And then as I looked round to see who said that, I thought, well, it's Al Murray.
Oh,
and
cool.
I had my son with me, and I said, Ben, it's Al Murray. And he must have heard me, because he turned around and said, hello. I said, hello, it's Al Murray. And he went, yes, hello. And that was it.
Oh, all right. Yeah, well, it's always awkward, isn't it? What do you say when you see somebody that you know from the telly but don't know? You know, it's always a bit awkward, isn't it?
There can
but
be
he's a cool guy. He likes Doctor Who, doesn't he? He's into his Who.
Yeah, but it's quite awkward. Never know quite what to say, because I don't know. I don't know. I have it sometimes with certain people that I've seen off the TV, where it's kind of you don't want to be too kind of fanboyish, because you don't want them to roll their eyes and be like, oh, here we go, here's another one. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And on the same thing, you don't also want to be like, oh, it's just you. You want to show, want to show some appreciation that this person's in front of you. It's a strange one, fandom.
Did you pick any Doctor Who stuff up? Did you get anything that day?
No, I didn't. They didn't have anything that great there.
No, it's a bit, as Al pointed out, it's a bit dry, wasn't it? There wasn't much there. I didn't get much either.
Yeah, I got some comics and some other bits and pieces, but yeah, because I thought if they're going to move all that Doctor Who range and they put it in a different place, they would have had like a refresh and brought some new stuff out. But no, nothing really that I hadn't seen the last couple of times I'd been down there.
Yeah, actually, I was groaning about that because I was already in a bad mood because I'd sort of been forced out of the house, and also the train was packed, so I'd stood all the way to London, and it was really busy everywhere. Forbidden Planet was heaving, wasn't it? So I was already a bit hassled, and then I got in there, and I don't like change, and they'd moved everything around, and I was like, "Where's all the stuff?" I was in there. It was probably a good job he didn't see me. Actually, I wasn't in the best of moods by the time I come out of there.
I would have been told off.
Yeah, why?
Oh, Gary, I'm in a rush move. Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, I was pleased I got the comic. I was definitely glad I went up because it was good to get the comic, and I got the other comic signed 20 AD. I'm not even sure what it is.
2000 AD.
2000 AD. That'd be the one. Yeah, so got that signed because it was happening while I was there. So I thought, well, may as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get much Who stuff.
Okay.
Because they didn't have much.
Didn't have much, yeah. And you know when Forbidden Planet's busy, when you have to queue outside to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there must be like 5 or 6 people out on the street waiting to go in as we got there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Forbidden Planet.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get me started on them. There's still a bit of a bone of contention with them, so let's move on.
Let's move on. Shall we get stuck in with the news and land it?
Yeah, land it, mate. Let's get into the news.
Cool. I say, shall we do the news?
Yes.
Yes. First up, we don't really like starting with bad news, I guess.
More, sad news.
Sad news, and but the way that we look at it here is that we don't really see it as sad or bad news. We see it as a celebration, really. You know, we don't want to dwell on this sort of stuff, but so you guys would have remembered this guy from the 10th Doctor's episode, The Doctor's Daughter. And he was this guy was a really cool character called General Cobb. And unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 69 recently. And I think he played a really good character in that. What about you?
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, I was trying to think back to when we reviewed the episode actually, but he does stick in the mind.
He does.
So you know, I think he was good in it.
He was. He played this really
Sort of grouchy.
Yeah, this really grumpy, grouchy, and not really messing with everybody. Because the storyline, the way it worked as you went through the episode, was all of these soldiers were actually created like within a day or two, weren't they, or a matter of weeks or something, because they felt like they've been fighting this war for a long time. And yeah, so he's got this kind of army general kind of hardness about his character. He's got this old wise kind of thing going on, but he's actually very naive and quite closed-minded. So I thought he acted that really well. I'm not sure if we mentioned that on the review for that, but yeah, I thought he did that really well. And he's had a really long career, this guy, and like quite a couple of big films and loads of TV stuff.
Yeah, and loads of theatre as well. Actually, looking at this,
Loads of stuff. So very sad. Nigel Terry has passed away recently, but yeah, so it's good to look back on his career and see as just so much he's done. I mean, when I looked through the list of all the stuff that he'd been in, I was like, whoa, he's been in that, he's been in that, he's been in that. So yeah, Nigel Terry. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, he has got one of those faces as well. Like you said, you do, maybe if you didn't know the name when you see him, he's one of these actors that has cropped up in quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Next bit of news, buddy.
Yeah, in other news, I was going to say a bit of good news here. We got Big Finish Productions. They're on a roll at the minute, aren't they? How are they finding the time to produce this stuff? But they've just secured the rights to do some Torchwood audios. They're going to produce 6 new stories starring a lot of the original cast, which is great. Starting with, well, who else but Captain Jack. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but I believe these are coming out around September. Is that right?
The first one is September.
Yeah,
yes.
First one September.
Yep.
So this is good, isn't it? I mean, I'm surprised this hasn't happened before, actually. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. I think they did some radio plays of Torchwood, and there have been a few CDs out in the past, but it's good to have like the original cast coming back to do some. It
is, and it's a good thing, a really good thing. And like you, I'm really surprised it's taken this long. I'm not sure why. Maybe, I'm not sure if Big Finish have pushed for this previously, or if it's just something that's not really been on the priority, because they've been very busy with Doctor Who. And all their other stuff as well. It's always amazed me how much stuff Big Finish does as well as Doctor Who.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so much stuff, and yeah, so this is awesome. And I'm glad that John Barrowman's back as well. Yeah,
and I bet he is as well, because he loves this character, doesn't he? He just loves the whole Torchwood, Captain Jack, Doctor Who thing. So yeah, I'm thinking these will be good. I mean, Big Finish, are known now for their quality productions, and you sort of, what I'm saying is, like, I think they're in safe hands, so they should be good. I'll definitely be picking up a couple of these to see what they're like.
Yes, I'm going to pre-order this first one. I'm going to pre-order it so that I don't pay double the price when it actually comes out.
Yeah, that's right. Same.
So I'm definitely going to pre-order this one, because I'm actually quite interested where they take the story as well, because a lot of fans who have been asking and have been kind of shouting out for Torchwood to come back on the TV, I think it's quite justified, because they didn't really close the whole thing off, did they? They didn't wrap everything up, so there's still a lot of story to go.
There's not many cast members left by the end of Miracle Day, but you're right. I mean, there's always a lot of there's always a lot of stories in Torchwood to be told. Like you said, they haven't wrapped it all up. And a bit like Doctor Who, it's got loads of places it can go and loads of things it can do. It's a good format for a show. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm surprised. Like, normally Big Finish announce these things so far in advance. Like, they'll announce something like the Fourth Doctor Adventures, for example, with Lala Ward, and they're coming out next year. But they announced it like 2 years ago, I think. Okay. So I'm surprised that these are coming out in September. It feels quite soon already. So yeah, I'm looking forward to these.
Yeah, and like you say, it is in safe hands as well, because the quality of their stuff has been so good for a long time now.
Yeah,
you kind of, I know nothing's assured, but you've got that. If it's with those guys, it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, with the amount they are producing, it's amazing that the standard of their audios are so good, actually. They're on a real roll at the minute.
They are. World domination from behind microphones.
Yes, right.
A bit like us, really.
Something like that.
Something like that. Okay, so that's cool. And then last up, news-wise, this is going to make a lot of fans very happy, or it's going to annoy a lot of people. So Alex Kingston has been having a natter at MegaCon over in the US. And I'm not sure if she was been quizzed on this subject or if she was doing a Q&A or something. But she has said that, I'm assuming that somebody's asked her something while they've been having something signed, or she's done a panel. And they must have said something like, will River Song come back? And she goes on to say that all I can say is spoilers. But what I will say is the sonic screwdriver that I had in silence in the library, which had been given to me by the doctor, is not the sonic screwdriver that has been seen yet. She later went on to say, I haven't been told that I'm done on the show.
Yes.
So, this is not... Now, let's get this straight. She's not saying that River Song will return, and she's not giving any sort of subtle little clues that she might be returning in the near future. But what she is saying is that it's not a closed case.
Yeah.
I think we can safely say that
The door is open.
indeed, because there are
I must admit, I did groan a little when I read this. I was like, oh, because I am a bit sick of River. But but the bit that actually made me change my mind is that second bit where she says about the sonic screwdriver.
Yep.
Because she's absolutely right. And actually, that really bugs me that we still don't know. That's a story that's still to be told. So I've changed my mind because of that. Because I do want to know how she got that sonic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, gosh, how long ago was Silence in the Library? You know, we're still, all these years later, that story hasn't been told. So although I'm a little bit sick of River, I've no doubt she will crop up, and I do want that story told. So yeah, I'm actually kind of pleased.
Okay. Yeah.
Because as long as they actually answer that story. I wonder if Steve-O's keeping it as his sort of swan song or something. Do you know what I mean? He must have got it in his head how she got that sonic. So I wonder if he's just saving it for his, before he goes or whatever.
Yeah. He does have a habit of doing these things over a long time. Like these little bits that you would have thought would have been just left there and then a year or two later it gets answered in an episode somewhere. So he does have a habit of doing that. And I don't know, the timing, does it feel about right now if they were to bring her back for series 10, say for example, would that be about right? Because she was in it, 7 years ago? 7 years ago? When was Silence in the Library? When was her last... No, sorry, when was her last episode with Matt Smith? Was that 4 years ago? Was
it the one where the Angels Take Manhattan? Was it that one? Or has she been in it since?
Was it that one? I can't remember.
You know, when Amy and Rory leave, have a feeling...
Yeah.
I can sort of picture her in the garden at the end talking to Amy and thinking that's the last time we saw her. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. So was that 3 years ago then?
Yeah.
But because
everyone thought she's going to pop up in Time of the Doctor, but we got Tasha Lamb, didn't we? So I think it was,
So it's been a few years since we've seen her last, and it's been 7 years since this episode with that Sonic. So obviously she's not going to be back for Series 9, but I don't know. Series 10, would that be about right to bring her back if they would?
I think it would, actually. Yeah, yeah.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
She's not that bad.
No, I quite like River. I just think we had a bit too much of her in the Matt Smith era. You know, because I actually think she's quite a good character, but I don't know. I think she got sort of overused a bit. You know, I mean, the whole spoilers thing, was, all right to begin with, but by the end, when she kept saying it, I mean, she's even saying it in this blimming quote. By the end, just sort of going, it grinds you a little bit. But yeah, no, I think River's quite a decent character. I'd like to see her come back, but yeah, not just yet.
Not just yet.
She'd probably work quite well with Capaldi, actually.
I think she would.
Yeah, because there'd be, the flirting would probably be out the window. Wow, I don't know actually with Stephen Moffat, but you'd assume. Yeah, I think they could work well. Okay,
so maybe we'll see her again soon. I personally don't think we're done with River just yet, but I think it'll have to be a well-timed return.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap on news, buddy.
Yeah.
Before we crack on with our review, our classic review, we're going to announce our winner, the competition.
Oh, Ooh, competition, yes.
Yeah. So last week we asked you guys to tweet in with anything you like, as long as it references something funny to do with Doctor Who or something about the book we're giving away. And so the book that we're giving away is our good friend Cameron McEwen. His new book, The Unofficial Doctor Who Big Book of Lists. Hope I'm saying that right. And you guys have sent in some very cool, some very funny tweets. But we can only have one winner. And I haven't got my drum roll sound effect.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I haven't even got anything to bang on. I can't even do one. That's probably just going to come out as really...
Yeah, so...
the winner is...
So the winner is Thomas Evans.
Oh, Thomas, cool.
Thomas.
What did he tweet?
His tweet was, hey, look over there, in brackets, grabs the book and runs as fast as I can, smiley face.
Oh, cool. Excellent. Congratulations, Thomas.
Congrats, mate. So his Thomas's Twitter name is @Thomas_Time_Lord. Don't know if he's a real Time Lord, but...
I suspect he is.
We suspect so.
Actually, I just remembered this is one of the few things I bought from Forbidden Planet was this book. And it's a really good book, Thomas, so I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's one of the few things I bought, actually.
One of the... out of all the stuff.
Yeah, well, I
That's the
thought,
one
better support our old mate Camsey. But it's a really great little book. I was showing my partner when I got back, who has not much interest in Doctor Who, but I was just sat there flicking through it. It's a really great little book.
It is a great book. It's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you very much to Race Point Publishing for giving us a copy to give away. Thank you very much, Cameron. Very good book. And Thomas, we will be in touch with you in the next few hours or the next day, whatever, and we'll sort out getting that out to you.
Yeah, brilliant.
Good stuff. Classic review time.
Right, yes. Spiffing little story this week, isn't it?
A spiffing, a proper British story.
Really is, yeah.
Yeah.
Fifth Doctor, been a while. So Fifth Doctor story, Black Orchid.
Not an accident.
I'm afraid it's a little more serious than that, Doctor.
That's him. That's who attacked me.
It's me.
Yes, you. And he did that. I saw him.
Doctor?
I'm afraid Miss Talbot is mistaken. I've just this minute come down the stairs.
I am not mistaken. He danced with me and then pulled me in here. I shouted for help. James came and he killed him.
I say, look here.
Sir Robert, arrest that man. He killed James. I saw him.
Lady Cranley, please.
Charles, shouldn't you?
No, Madge. Wait until the sergeant gets here.
But our guests...
I suggest, Charles, that you call it a day. Tell your guests there's been an accident and ask them to go home.
What about him?
I'll deal with this.
Right,
Now, Anne.
This man attacked me and then killed James.
Oh, no.
You did. He did. He danced with me on the terrace, brought me in here, and then
Miss
he...
Talbot is quite mistaken. I have just come down these stairs. Before that, I was... Wait a minute. Was I like this?
Yes.
Well, that's it then.
What is it?
A completely logical explanation, a duplication of fancy dress. Someone else must be wearing an identical costume.
Yes, one must be.
Even the Doctor's really posh in this one, isn't he?
I was going to mention that later, you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
He's really... do you reckon that's an influence from the supporting cast?
Yeah, I reckon it is. It's funny, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if this happens to you, but I find it a lot as well, that sometimes if you're in the company of somebody who talks, I don't know, different, whatever, you do sometimes slip into it, don't you? You sort of seem to pick up the mannerisms. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I'm always like that, yeah, with when my bro comes over from Australia and I spend more than like half a day with him, I find myself having a strange kind of Aussie accent almost. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, so it does happen.
It does happen, yeah.
Yeah. So, Black Orchid.
Indeed.
What do you think then? What's it about?
What's it about? Well, it's kind of it's a very, very simple story, this one. It's only a two-parter, isn't it? It's a really short one for a classic.
Yeah. Don't get many two-parters.
Yeah, so just two-parters of 24 minutes each, 25 minutes each.
And this followed on from Visitation, which we did not that long ago.
That's right.
And they kind of mention it. Yes, the big. They kind of mention it, don't they? At the beginning, it's a sort of throwaway line. You know, if you didn't know, it wouldn't matter. But they do sort of say something about oh, we've left London in a terrible state.
Yes, yeah.
Meaning that they've just burnt down Pudding Lane.
They just wrecked half of London. And
yeah.
So this was back in 82. And who wrote this one? Terence Dudley.
Terence Dudley, yeah.
So, right, the story is quite simple. They land on the TARDIS actually brings them to this train station, and the Doctor doesn't quite understand why, because he's quite frustrated. He's like, "What is it with you and this planet and this place, whatever?" And when they get out of the TARDIS onto the platform, they get kind of shuffled along into this story by the chauffeur, isn't it? So this very posh guy who owns this manor house nearby, his chauffeur is waiting on the platform for a doctor.
Yeah, it's like they're expected, isn't it? It's like, oh, you're here, and it's all a bit odd, isn't it? It's like,
yeah. So they kind of go with it, and then he takes them off to this manor house. But before that, we get this very classic, well-known cricket scene where Peter Davison gets to really embrace his kind of Doctor Who outfit with these cricket whites and have a terribly British game of cricket. And once that's all done, they go back and, there's this... they go to this very big house, and there's this kind of Phantom of the Opera kind of figure, this sinister figure who's kind of murdered this person, and you don't really know what he's about. It's almost quite Unicorn and the Waspy.
Yeah, I put that in my notes. Actually,
Did you?
It does. Yeah, it does sort of remind me of that a bit. Yeah.
So if you've seen Unicorn and the Wasp and you haven't seen this, kind of visually and the vibe of the episodes they're very similar. It's almost like a
sort of a mystery, isn't it?
It's like a murder mystery, almost. It's that kind of vibe. Anyway, so this guy, we don't know much about him, and the Doctor just gets kind of taken up in this whole social thing that everyone's very happy because there's a ball, and there's like a masked ball, and it's almost like they haven't got anything to do. They're just letting their hair down and having a good time. But this thing's going on, and one of the girls at the party almost gets killed by this guy, and they accuse the Doctor, and one thing leads to another.
And Nissa's got a double, hasn't she? This girl, yes. She looks the spitting image of Nissa for some reason.
Yeah, not sure why that's in there, but it is. So the Doctor, anyway, he gets accused, but, as you would expect, the Doctor uncovers it somehow, and they go home. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a bit like a sort of it's a little bit like a sort of Miss Marple episode, but with the Doctor in it, isn't it? It's kind of a like you said, it's like this thing lurking in the base. So he's tied up, isn't he? And there's this strange Indian man with a giant wooden tongue, which is quite unusual. I remember that really because I remember this when it went out. I remember that guy really freaked me out as a kid with that tongue. So yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of mystery little points in this, and it's like you said, it's just a two-parter. I thought it nips along at quite a good little pace because, like you said, the sort of story is very simple, really, isn't it? It's just it's just that they sort of arrive and get embroiled in all this goings on at this party, really, at a big mansion house. That's pretty much it.
That's it. Yeah.
But what did you think of it then overall? Did you like it?
What did I think overall? I thought that it was okay. There just wasn't much to it. That's the only thing I can say, really. It's an enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
The cast wasn't too bad. Peter Davison was quite cool. Adric didn't really get too annoying, which is good. And there wasn't much substance to it. The story, like we've established, is very simplistic. And you didn't really have to guess too much about what was going on. Quite predictable. And... I can't really say much more than that because it's one of those stories where you can't really, like when we went to the convention and we started talking about various Doctor Who episodes and Doctors and stuff. A lot of the classics episodes we could have probably talked for a good couple of hours. If we'd have brought this one up, we'd been done in 20 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a bit like the cricket bit at the start. It's
that goes on for ages.
Yeah, it does. It just goes on. I mean, you can just sort of nip out and make a coffee and come back, and you're not missing anything. But it does go on for quite a while, doesn't it? It's like they don't just have a shot of him bowling someone out. It goes on and on and on. But I really like this. I really like this story, but as an enjoyable watch, it's like you said, there's not much substance to it. I think the reason I like it is because it's kind of nice just seeing the TARDIS crew, arrive and sort of unwind for a little bit before obviously getting embroidered in a horrific murder mystery, And I do like the way it starts. I do think it's kind of creepy because it actually starts with someone being throttled, doesn't it? That's the very first scene, is someone being choked to death on a carpet. So it's like, oh, right. So straight into it. And then it's all set in 1925. So like you said, everyone's very topo and British and all that sort of thing. I actually do think the cast in it are quite good. Well, I think they're really good, actually.
Yeah.
I really like the cast in it.
Yeah.
All the cast. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone... but there's nobody in it that sort of makes me cringe. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a lot of putting on your best British accent, as we said. But there's no one in it that sort of makes me grimace or think, oh God, I think they were actually pretty good. Just funny what you said about Adric though, because he doesn't get anything to do in this at all, apart from eat and dance. It must have been the easiest day's filming for Matthew Waterhouse, that there was, because he literally does. He just eats and dances, and that's all he gets to do in the whole story. And I love the fact even when they change into their costumes for the party, he puts his little star badge on. He's still got it on over his costume. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, it's cool. But yeah. I mean, the rest of the cast. I mean, I do think Peter Davison's really good in this, though. I have to agree with you. And he hates this story.
He does.
Peter Davison. Yeah. Have you watched it with the commentary?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious, isn't it? He absolutely destroys it. He rips it to shreds, doesn't he?
Yep. He doesn't like it at all.
No.
It's not like he's just one of the little ones one of the episodes that he wasn't quite a fan of. He really doesn't like it at all.
No. I mean, I watched the episode, and because it's so short, I remembered that the commentary was good, and I thought, I'll watch it again with the commentary while I'm doing dinner. So I could just, I don't need to watch it. I can just listen to it. So I put it on again straight after his commentary, and it is so funny. I mean, they all, actually, apart from Sarah Sutton, who played Nyssa, she's the only one who sort of sticks up for it, maybe because it focuses a bit more on her character, I don't know. But yeah, the rest of them, I mean, what's her name? Janet Fielding, Tegan, she doesn't mince her words, does she?
No, not at all.
No, she's so funny.
Yeah, she's got that typical Aussie, no messing. Doesn't
to the
miss.
point.
To the point, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good, if you guys haven't watched that yet with the commentary, it's actually really funny.
It is.
I think there are a few points where it's not supposed to be. But yeah, it's really funny. But talking of Peter Davison, and I was going to mention this earlier as well. Sorry, I was going to mention this, but we picked up on it straight away. But his accent, he does go very, very British, like all the other guys. And because I think he's quite, in a lot of his episodes, he is quite British anyway.
Yeah.
He's got that classic kind of, you can tell that he's classically not trained, but he's, that's his kind of thing for Doctor Who. But in this one, it really does go up a notch. Right from the beginning as well. When he turns up at the cricket match.
Yes. Yeah.
And we see like what feels like half an hour of just watching him hit cricket balls and do this terrible bowling. I mean, the guy who was batting must have been awful. Because he's all over the place.
He's all over the shop, isn't he? Yeah.
He is. Anyway, well, I think Peter Davison's really good in this. He's quite understated in it. Or he doesn't.
I like the fact he's quite cross in it, and I wonder if that's because, I don't know if it's because he didn't like the story, but he reminds, he's not cross as much as Hartnell, but do you know what I mean? He's got a very spikiness to him in this, which I really like. You know, he gets really frustrated, but not over the top, and I quite like it. Yeah,
so I'm going to say, he doesn't go too nuts with it. He doesn't. He's quite understated, but he's quite. I'm not sure if you just wanted to get this one out the way, because one of the things that I did notice was his lines. They did seem a bit quick. In some of the other episodes, where the ones that he didn't mind doing, the ones that he quite liked, there's a bit more of a pace to his lines. And the way he delivers stuff and his interactions with other actors and stuff. But in this one, I found him to be quite quick. maybe because he wasn't enjoying the story, just wanting to get done and go down the pub or something. But
Yeah.
I found him quite quick and just wanting to get through it, I think.
Yeah, and also I think one of the things Peter Davison doesn't like about story is that it's got no science fiction aspect to it, which I kind of understand. It doesn't really bother me, though, I have to be honest. I don't really care that there's no science fiction aspect to it. In fact, in a way, I think it's one of the reasons I like it, because it just makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, it's got that... It's just purely... It's just a historical story, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing else to kind of muddy the waters. There's no androids lurking in the basement or...
And they could have added them in, I suppose. I mean, it would have been quite easy to have put, an alien monster in there.
Yeah.
That would have been very easy to write in. But so I guess they chose not, what was the writer? Terence Dudley. I guess he chose not to do it. But I don't mind. I think it's fine. I think it's makes a nice change. A bit like, like you said, the Unicorn or the Wasp. Although I suppose that does have the alien in it, but it's quite, it's got a different feel to the rest of the episode, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Unicorn and the Wasp. And I think this one does as well.
Yeah.
And I like the fact the Doctor's, out of his costume and in that, I like the Harlequin costume. I know Peter Davison hated it, but I kind of like it. I think it is kind of creepy. Like when he's sort of leaning over to strangle Anne, and then in the reprise he doesn't. But I think it kind of works as a sort of, because it's the person that's just go, isn't it? So it's kind of creepy. I don't know.
Yeah. So what did you think of that guy? The guy he's been turned a bit strange by this black orchid flower.
Yeah. Well, he's a stuntman, isn't he? So he's he's got he's just basically sort of made it. He doesn't really get any lines or anything.
Yeah.
But I think he's okay, and I know Janet Fielding says the makeup's awful on his scarred face. I disagree. I think it looks all right, actually. I think it looks quite horrible. When he's sort of cowering in the corner, I don't think it looks that bad, do you? Or did you think it was bad?
No, it wasn't too bad. I've seen... we've seen worse in Doctor Who.
We have, yeah.
Indeed. So, I would have liked to have seen a bit more of that character. I'd like to have seen him, which is difficult because it's only a two-parter, so they can't really do too much with the time they've got. But I would have liked to have seen him a bit more in it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because you don't sort of get much time to sort of have any sort of affection or care for. Well, you do care. I mean, you're wondering why he's being locked up all the time, why that engine's locking him up. And I do love the bit in the commentary where Peter Davison says, he's strangling the Indian guy to escape.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Peter Davison's like... points out that he said rather than trying to sort of stop him strangling him, he just decides to hide a key instead. And I think there are loads of bits in this story that don't really make sense.
Yeah.
But they don't bother me. Let's talk a little bit about Sarah Sutton, because she has to play two parts. Actually, she has to play Nyssa, her regular character, and then she has to play Anne.
Anne, yeah.
This posh, whiny character that's supposed to look exactly like her. Like you said, there is no other reason for the fact that she looks like a twin, apart from the fact that the guy, the scar, what's his name? It's George, isn't it? The guy who's all scarred.
George Milne, yeah.
Yeah, he has to mistake Nyssa for Anne. That's the only real reason for it, isn't it? So that they can add a bit of drama at the end when he kidnaps her. But I mean, I don't think Sarah Sutton manages to really play two different parts, apart from being a bit more whiny, because it's hard to tell when she's Nyssa and when she's Anne, isn't it? Because they dress identical on purpose, but then they don't feel like two different characters to me. I don't think she really makes enough effort to sort of play the part very different, apart from being a bit whiny and a bit pathetic.
She was, now you mention it, I kind of got that whole... I don't think she tested herself that much.
No, I think she could have put a bit more effort in there.
A bit more effort, yeah. I think she could have had a bit more fun with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think because whenever you speak to actors who have had to play dual parts before, they often say that it's great fun and they love doing that sort of thing because it's an opportunity to step outside and do something completely different.
Yeah.
But it seems like she didn't really take that and run with it. She was quite happy to just play them quite similar. So maybe she was directed that way. I'm not sure, but yeah, they are quite samey, even though they're meant to be very different.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, and also the only way to distinguish them is this tiny, minuscule mole, isn't it, on her shoulder? That did make me laugh as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously she's got a wig on to make her hair look different. But yeah, you're right. I think she could have had real fun with that. I think she could have, like you said, it's probably down to the direction. But it would have been nice if she'd have played it different rather than because you did just feel like it was just the same person. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I do. I'd go say I do like. What's the lady? What's the surname? She's not in it that much. Lady Cranley. Lady Cranley, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. There's something about her just sort of stubbornness, and when she's just letting the Doctor die on his arse when he's trying to sort of explain, and she's just looking up at the sky. I mean, she's not the strongest character ever, but again, it comes back to I think the supporting cast are good because I think they played the role they're given quite well, and there's something about her I just kind of like.
He got done up. He got done up like a kipper.
Oh, didn't he? Just
I would have been fuming.
Yeah, and also the bit with the mark. But why? I can't believe as well. I mean, to prove his innocence, there's probably one of the things that does slightly bug me, I suppose, about the story is that to prove he's innocent, he takes them to the TARDIS to show them inside. And it seems a really bit of lazy. I don't get that at all. Like the Doctor, it's just not something that Doctor's ever sort of done before or would do, really, is it? And how does that even prove he's innocent? I just don't get that whole bit where he's like, could you just pull over here? He's suspected of murder. Could you just pull to the side of the road? I just want to show you something. It doesn't really add up. But
I've got written in my notes here. I've got the ending that you're referring to.
Yeah.
About him taking them all into the TARDIS. I've put it's like trying to crack an egg with a nuclear bomb. It's like right at the end. It's like, how's the Doctor going to get out of this one?
Yeah.
Come and have a look at my time machine. This will prove my innocence immediately. So everyone just jumps in and he's like, this guy must be innocent. He's got nothing to do with the fact that he's an alien who's got a time machine. Let's not focus on that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Let's just focus on the fact that this guy's telling the truth. Let's just ignore everything else that we've seen.
It's just it's an incredibly lazy sort of, what do they call it? Just to move the plot on, basically, isn't it? Yeah, so to shoehorn the plot in. I have to say, actually, I do like the locations in this, because I like my locations.
You love them.
And I do like my locations. The train station I've been to, it's actually fairly close to where I live. So it's a steam museum. So, you can actually, you haven't got sort of worried about being told off for being on someone's property. You can actually go in. Okay. And, it's a nice little steam museum. So that's out near, what's it called? Quainton. It's in Buckinghamshire. So that's cool. The Manor House is somewhere in Sussex. It's a million miles away. So I've not been to that one yet. But I do like the locations. There's something quite nice about the TARDIS landing on a train station. I don't know why.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move on to scores, I just want to mention the very end.
Yeah.
And I know I shouldn't, but I don't think I've laughed as much at an ending of Doctor or Classic Who than I have this one. And it's the bit where Gareth is on the roof and he's just given Nyssa back.
Yes, yeah.
And
his brother, when he goes to say, good show.
His brother puts his arms out, a big smile on his face, ready to make amends. And he falls off.
Yeah.
He just...
Why?
And the guy's face just drops. He puts his arms out and he's got this big grin on his face. His brother, he doesn't jump, does he? He falls. He slips and falls.
He sort of slips backwards. Yeah, if you put some comedy music on that, I mean, it would just be hilarious.
I found that so funny.
I know it is, and like you said, it shouldn't be, but it is. And also, because that's the other thing that made me laugh on that scene, and Peter Davison points out on the commentary is the Doctor says, "What's he gonna do when he finds out it's not Anne?" And the first thing he says when he gets on the roof is, "That's not Anne you've got there." And I'm thinking, hang on, you've just said that's the last thing you should say, and it's crazy. But that did make me laugh as well. And then the poor guy falls backwards off a roof from a rejected hug from the brother. It's all a bit mad.
Oh god, the last 10 minutes is just bonkers.
Yeah,
it's just bonkers. But you can't dislike it though.
Do you know what? I really like it. I think you're going to be surprised when we score, but it's more because I just really enjoy watching it. I think it's just because it's two episode. Really, sort of just 2 short, fun episodes. Yeah.
Right, scores.
Right.
It's your turn to go first.
Yeah, it
this
is.
week.
Yeah, I may be going too high here, but I do, despite all its faults and everything else, I'm going for an 8 out of 10 because I just really like this story. I just really enjoy it.
Okay, I thought we were going to go for a first 10 there.
Oh no,
Blimey.
no! It's got far too many faults in, but I've just always really liked it. I do appreciate it's not a work of Shakespeare. There's a lot of faults with it, but I really enjoy it. Yeah, so 8 out of 10.
Cool.
What are you giving it, mate?
Mine's going to be a 7.5.
Oh really? Oh cool.
Yeah.
I was worried that I'd gone too high and that you were going to be like a 5 or 6 or whatever. But
Yeah. And I think these might surprise a lot of our listeners. I think you guys were... And the reason for is this particular episode, it hardly ever gets talked about.
No, it's a bit of... Yeah, it does get overlooked, doesn't it? A lot.
Yeah. Whenever you're talking about Classic Who or, specifically the Peter Davison era, this one hardly ever gets brought up. Nobody ever really talks about it that much. And not because it's bad-ish. It's got, I don't know, it's just one of those weird ones where... Because I thought to myself before I watched it, I thought... Because I always try and go in without any preconception. I always try and clear everything that I've either seen or read or anything about it. And for some reason, I had in my head that this was going to be absolutely awful.
Oh, really?
Even though I tried to put that out of my head. I just had this feeling that it was going to be really bad. But it's actually pretty good. Like you say, it's a good, easy watch. It's quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
And you don't have to think too hard either.
No, that's right. Yeah. It's just an enjoyable watch, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So
I am glad you liked it, by the way, because I do have a real soft spot for this one, and I had absolutely no idea what you were going to make of this. I really, like you said, I thought it is one of those stories that will divide people, and I thought, is Gary going to like this? And I was thinking, I hope you do, because I've got a real soft spot for it, and it would have been hard if you'd have really. Because I can imagine that some people would slay this because of all the faults in it and stuff. So I was really glad that you enjoyed it, that you did. Because it would have been quite hard if you hadn't. I would have thought, oh no, I really like it. But
it's a harmless
I'm glad
story.
you enjoyed it. Yeah,
it's a harmless one. You can't beat it up too much.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Facebook, see what you guys are saying on there. And Kieran Knight. He says, very naff and unnecessary.
Oh, no.
But it's paced well and there are worse ways to spend 50 minutes.
No.
I hear the commentary with Davis and ranting is hilarious.
Oh, it is. It's worth buying just for the commentary.
Ben Smith, a short but sweet, enjoyable story. Nothing too serious. And although it has many flaws, it's just so much fun. 7 out of 10.
Right, yeah.
Stu Gee, he says, quite topping. It's a great period piece. The plot is a bit slight, though, and Adric and Tegan are sidelined too much.
Yeah, the rest of the cast don't really get anything to do. That's true.
Greg Toby, he says, quite a relaxed story. Good if you want to watch Classic Who, but don't have enough time for 4 to 6 episodes. 7 out of 10. And Devin Baker, quite good, but flawed, but also enjoyable. 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fair points.
I had a couple. Had Callum Johnson. He said he really enjoyed this one. Just a nice little story. He'd give it 8 out of 10. So that's good. He's on par.
Cool.
Nick Riches really enjoyed the story. A bit of a guilty pleasure, as it's not proper Who in brackets. This is not Peter Davis's favourite story. He was playing cricket for the whole day. It does feel like the whole day as well.
Yeah.
It could be quite dark if you think about it. That's the thing. I think it did, have potential to be perhaps a bit more than it was. He overall enjoyed it. John Gernhill. He's just asking. I've had a mask that I put on Facebook of the thing. He's just asking where it is. Sorry.
Looks cool.
And
yep.
It didn't take long. Andy Frankham Allen. He says fond memories of this one on first transmission. Love the scene on the train platform as the TARDIS arrives. A nice, tight little story and further proof that not every story needs science fiction elements for monsters. We need to return to some proper historicals. So yeah, Andy's a fan.
Thanks, Mr. Andy.
Good. Will Lloyd, our competition winner, he says a nice little story that goes along at a good pace. One I'd recommend. It is quite well paced. Apart from the cricket scene, it goes on forever. Thomas Andrew Evans, is this the same Thomas that's just won book.
It is. I think
think
so.
it is. Yeah. Looking at the profile picture.
Yep.
Lovely story. It was the first proper. Oh, sorry. It's the first Peter Davison I watched. Would definitely recommend. He'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Cool.
Stuart Stockwin. He's normally quite negative, Stuart, isn't he? But he just says he's not seen this one, but he's looking forward to the podcast. When I say negative, I mean he can be doesn't mince his words, a bit like Tegan. And finally, Harry Westergaard. He says a great story, fun to have a historical, as this is the first one since the Highlanders. Gosh, is it?
It is indeed. Yep.
Blimey, all the way back to Hartnell.
Yeah.
And it doesn't disappoint. Quick paced. Fun story. Good to have something short and simple before Earthshock. Yes. Oh, gosh, yeah.
Cheers,
bit
Harry.
Of a, bit of a change of pace when we get to Earthshock, that's for sure. Yeah, so overall, fairly positive. I think, like us, they agree it's just a nice, easy watch.
Yeah, can't complain with that.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week?
Well, next week, it's an Eccleston, isn't it? Father's Day. Father's Day, yeah. That should be good. I haven't watched that for a while.
You haven't seen that one in a little while.
Yeah, with selfish old Rose.
Selfish.
And the Reapers. Yeah, it's funny. I always, whenever I think of Father's Day, I always forget about the Reapers, and they're actually really pretty cool.
They are.
So yeah, we'll be doing that one next week.
Yes, I think that will wrap, dude, for episode 40.
Spiffing.
Spiffing. Episode 40 done, in the bag, in the can, however you want to say it. Next week, Father's Day, and just to confirm, the week after that, which will be episode 42, will definitely be Carnival of Monsters.
Yeah, that's it. We're off to the carnival.
Mr. Pertwee. Congratulations, Thomas, for winning the book.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy that one, buddy.
Tweet us a picture of you when you get it. We always love to see our competition winners with their prizes.
Yeah. Tweet us, stick it on Facebook or Twitter, whatever you like. And yeah, I'm not sure when our next giveaway is going to be, but it will be at some point in the near future. Might be a big blue box t-shirt or mug being thrown out at some point.
I want one of those, one of each.
Yeah, I want one too.
Yeah.
We haven't got one yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
We'll sort that out. So that'll be coming up soon.
Very collectible.
Indeed. What else we got on? We haven't got much else on at the moment. So next week, what we'll do is, for episode 42, we will think of something between now and then to try and get a mug or a t-shirt or both out to you guys. Until then, jump over to the website, bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. From there, you can jump onto all the social channels, so Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Say hi on those, give us a like, give us a follow. And if you guys have got just 2 minutes or even a minute, if you could jump onto iTunes, if you subscribe to the podcast on there, and just give us a quick review, that would be amazing. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Alonzi!